Well, in this meeting just now, you expressed some concern about maybe almost an overreaction to what's going on. Could you amplify a little bit on that?
Well, you know, I think as mayors of coastal cities and as leaders here in the community, we need to be prepared. We need to be ready, and that's important. And I think our city, for example, we've already commenced some activities in terms of engineering, in terms of planning and preparation. But the most important thing is that we not overreact to this situation. You know, the overreaction could create a perception of a problem that does not exist or may not exist. And so I've been trying to make sure that we behave responsibly, we act responsibly, and we speak responsibly about this issue. And that's what I think I expressed in there, and that we have a responsibility to handle this appropriately and with proper measure. And, you know, I'm hoping that all the mayors understand that, and all the mayors work together along with Nikki Grossman from our tourism group, and we make sure that the message to the rest of the country, the message to the world is Fort Lauderdale is open for business. Our beaches are pristine, our beaches are in great shape, and we expect them to stay that way. And whether you want to come here to dive, swim, fish, look, Fort Lauderdale Beach and the coastal waters off Fort Lauderdale Beach are as beautiful as they've ever been, and we expect them to stay that way.
How does a political leader draw that line between doing what's right and showing leadership and, frankly, grandstanding? I mean, it's probably a fine line. How do you avoid crossing that line?
Well, it's been a concern to me because obviously with political season, you've seen that grandstanding. We've seen it at local level, we've seen it at state level, we've seen it at the national level, and that's not appropriate. You know, we have to address this in a responsible manner. We have to make sure we have a measured approach. Like I said, at the City of Fort Lauderdale, we took the position that we will be prepared. We are doing the testing of the water to make sure we know what our baseline is. We will be prepared in terms of protecting our coastal shores, our inland waterways, our plants, our fauna, you know, the mangroves, all that. We'll be ready. But to overreact and to try to make this a political, or to use this as a political opportunity is entirely inappropriate. And not only is it inappropriate, it's irresponsible, because we have a responsibility to our communities, especially as it relates to tourism and marine industries, to let the country know, to let the world know that things are normal right now. We don't have any of the issues that they're confronting up in, you know, the Louisiana coastline and the Gulf coastline. Our beaches have not had the impact and may never have the impact, especially when you hear from the experts and you understand how the Gulf Stream works and the Florida currents work. We may never see an impact on Fort Lauderdale Beach from this oil spill.
Is it possible that politicians are making it worse than it really is?
Well, I think there are some that are, and you and I just talked about that. I think you have a situation where some politicians are using this for political opportunity. They're trying to capitalize politically on an environmental issue. That's irresponsible. That is, and I think the voters need to look at that and say, who are those politicians that are making it worse by trying to capitalize politically, and who are those elected officials, those public servants who are just taking the right approach, the proper approach, and looking at, you know, what is the future of Fort Lauderdale, not just from an environmental standpoint, but from an economic standpoint, a tourism standpoint, and a marine industry standpoint.
I don't suppose you want to name who's in which camp, do you?
I wouldn't serve to benefit anybody.
Okay. Thank you.